AITA Asking particularly for men's opinions, as per the husband's request. Story 1. I had a baby 8 weeks ago. My toddler is only 1.5 yo, so 2 under 2. I took 3 months unpaid maternity leave, had to save up during the pregnancy to afford it. My husband didn't get any leave and had to keep working. He works from home. During these 8 weeks, my husband has gone out to a couple of dinners, a late meeting neighborhood committee, a wedding that I had to tag along to, unwillingly, at only 6 weeks after a C-section, to make him happy, late drinks following one of the dinners. He came home at 4:30 a.m. last week, and is scheduled to go on a bachelor trip later on that was supposed to be a weekend in New Orleans, and is now a 4-day international trip to Jamaica. He also told me about having 3 couples over to our house, which then turned, without my previous knowledge, into a 42-person get-together. Yes, you read that number right, and he's telling me he can't end that event at 7, so we can put the kids to bed because he can't ask people to leave. So he has not been deprived socially in any way. Now he's saying he wants to go to a double birthday party in NYC this Friday, which will naturally mean a late night. I'm arguing that, as a father of 2 very young kids in the trenches of postpartum, he should be sitting out of some of these events to stay home and help me at night. Our nanny is off the clock at 7 p.m., 5 p.m. on Fridays. So it's at night that I need him the most. He argues that one. He's home all day instead of going out to the office and having drinks after, and 2. He's able to wake up early after a late night to help with the kids. However, 1. It's not my fault his job is from home, and I tell him he wouldn't get to be out for drinks every night if he has a baby at home that needs him, and 2. While he does wake up at 7 a.m. after a late night, he then proceeds to be in a sour mood about how exhausted he is, and I end up picking up all the slack for the next couple of nights to help him recover. So it all falls back on me anyway. Of note, while I am on maternity leave now, I'm with the kids all day along with the nanny, so I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I also have a mental illness that requires me to prioritize my sleep, particularly in the postpartum period, which I have been completely putting aside in order to favor my husband getting good sleep, because he's working. Also, he gets reasonable chunks of break time throughout the day, so he is not working nonstop by any means. Am I being unreasonable? Isn't it fair that, as a father, he gives up some of these social events while his baby is a newborn? Should I just suck it up and let him be out and about for as many late nights as he wants? Our advice. Absolutely. It sounds like you're facing a significant challenge with 2 young children under the age of 2, and it's completely understandable that you'd need support, especially during the postpartum period. Here's a more in-depth take on your situation. Communication is key. It's crucial to have an open and honest conversation with your husband about how you're feeling. Let him know that while you understand his need for social interaction, you also need his support at home, particularly during the evenings and nights when the nanny is off duty. Express your concerns about your mental health and the toll it's taking on you to manage everything alone. Shared responsibilities. Parenting is a joint responsibility, and it's essential for both partners to pitch in, especially during challenging times like the postpartum period. While your husband may be working from home, it doesn't mean he's exempt from parenting duties. Discuss and agree upon a fair division of responsibilities that takes into account both of your needs and schedules. Empathy and understanding. It's important for both of you to empathize with each other's perspectives. Your husband may not fully grasp the physical and emotional toll of childbirth and postpartum recovery, so try to help him understand your point of view. Similarly, acknowledge his need for social interaction and downtime, but also make it clear that there are times when family responsibilities take precedence. Compromise and flexibility. Finding a balance between social life and family responsibilities may require compromise from both of you. Perhaps your husband can attend some events but limit the late nights, or commit to being home by a certain time to help with bedtime routines. Alternatively, you could explore options for rescheduling events or finding alternative arrangements for childcare during late nights. Seeking outside support. If you're struggling to reach a resolution on your own, consider seeking outside support, such as couples counseling or support groups for new parents. A neutral third party can help facilitate constructive communication and find solutions that work for both of you. Remember, being a parent is a journey filled with challenges, but it's also an opportunity for growth and shared experiences. By addressing your concerns openly and working together as a team, you can navigate this phase of your lives with understanding and support for each other. First comment. NTA. I'm 54, am a father of 3 and a full-time surgeon. Why didn't your husband take paternity leave? Not even 1 week? If his company doesn't offer paternity leave, then why didn't he use vacation time? Why not use those days he was planning on going to Jamaica to help his wife? You're recovering from a C-section, for God's sake. If you have a nanny and you can afford boys' trips and big parties, then finances shouldn't be a factor. It's a major red flag that he didn't take any time off for the birth of his child. To answer your question, a partner shouldn't leave their recently post-op postpartum spouse with young children to go on an optional boys' bachelor trip. You shouldn't throw lavish parties with multiple people with a newborn in the house and mom recovering from a C-section. Even one of these requests sounds selfish and inconsiderate. The totality of what you're describing doesn't paint your husband in a favorable light. If accurate, he needs to grow up. This isn't the 1800s where a husband lets his wife deal with the kids and he goes about living his life as normal. This is especially true if the wife also works and contributes to the household finances. I can hear your resentment and frustration in your post, and I can't blame you. Your husband needs to prioritize his family or be comfortable with a dysfunctional relationship or failed marriage. For update 1. Edited to add. I am the breadwinner. I make more than triple what my husband makes, so I am not a gold digger. Because I work, I hired a nanny. I simply didn't want to fire her just for 3 months of leave and lose her, so I saved up during pregnancy to be able to keep her. Working people need childcare. Simple as that. My husband isn't a terrible person, or I wouldn't have married him. When he's home, he's absolutely a dad to his kids, especially on weekends when he's off work. It's this one issue about the crazy amount of social events during this period that I'm having a problem with. We did get tons of women's opinions in AFB group, so then my husband asked if we could also get men's. I didn't know this would be a problem before kids or even after the first kid, because this all began after my husband went back to school for his master's and met all these friends that he now believes it's crucial he network with. They're not co-workers. We are not relying on Reddit to fix our marriage. We have recently started marriage counseling. We were simply curious what everyone else unbiased third parties thought, because we both believe we are right. More update 2. Update: he agrees he's in the wrong and says he feels terrible that he's been so inconsiderate. He says he knew it after the women commented but just wanted to hear what men had to say too. He says he will cool it with the events and continue to work on this in therapy. He should have seen my point just because I made it, but we're both super opinionated, so I guess he was being either stubborn or simply delusional. Story 2. AITA for being mad that my stepdaughter told me I won't be a good mom to my child. So I'm 33F and my husband is 35M. He dated a girl in college for a few weeks, and they had a daughter together who's 15. I have been dating her father since she was 6. I didn't meet her until she was 9 due to them moving here in custody agreements. When I met her mom, I was told that me and her daughter could be close, but don't steal all her mommy and daughter moments away from her. So that's what I hung out with her. I made sure her mom was able to do the first. Like when she wanted to learn how to do her hair, I told her to ask her mom. When she got her period, I told her to talk to her mom first, and then she could come to me about it if she wanted. She wanted me to teach her how to do makeup when she was 12 going on 13, and I told her to ask her mom as she probably would want to teach her that. When she turned 13, her mom got married and her stepdad, and she kind of stayed there most of 13, and so he was abusive, so now she lives with us full-time while her mom gets back on her feet. So the problem started when we announced to her we were pregnant. She seemed happy at first, and I tried to do what was recommended, which was to take her baby shopping, which she rejected, and I was fine with that as shopping wasn't really for her. Tried to give her an ultrasound picture, she didn't really want it, and she kind of blew up after that. And basically saying she doesn't want to do this stuff with me now as I have made it clear. I'm not her mom and I'm barely her stepmom, and that I didn't want to teach her how to do certain things and skills. And now basically I'm not going to be a good mother to my child, because I wasn't a good one to her. I told my husband why I was mad at her, and she said, and he told me not to be mad at her, as she's going through a lot. So AITA, our advice. It's understandable to feel hurt by your stepdaughter's words, but it's important to recognize her perspective and the challenges she's facing. It sounds like you've tried your best to respect her relationship with her mom while also being a supportive presence in her life. It might be helpful to have an open and honest conversation with her, expressing your feelings and understanding hers. And remember, being a good parent isn't solely determined by past actions but by ongoing effort and love. First comment. While I wouldn't call you an there's clearly a need for better communication, and perhaps reevaluation of how you've handled situations with your stepdaughter. Keep in mind, this young girl has been riding a roller coaster of emotions and changes. She's trying to find her place in this newly blended family while grappling with issues from her past, and then the bombshell of a new baby is dropped into the mix. That's a heavy load for a 15-year-old. It seems like your intentions were good in trying to respect her biological mother's wishes, but teens don't see the world through the same lens we do. To her, it may have felt like repeated rejections rather than acts of consideration. Adolescence is hard enough without feeling like the people who are supposed to be your support system are pushing you away, even unintentionally. Her outbursts likely stem from a deep place of feeling isolated and perhaps even abandoned in a way. Your husband's absence earlier in her life, coupled with the tensions from her mother's side, have probably instilled in her a fear of being replaced or forgotten, a fear that's all too common in children of blended families. It's time to have a heart-to-heart talk with her. Help her understand the complexities of adult decisions that affected her, but more importantly, make sure she knows she still has a secure place in your family. Your new baby will change the dynamics, but it doesn't diminish the bond you've built with her. It's a delicate dance, but it's not too late to change the steps and show her she's just as much a priority as the new baby will be.